What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys missed me because I definitely missed you guys. In this video, I'm going to show you guys how I achieved this look by taking this unit from a black to this beautiful blonde balayage using my teasing technique. And so if you are interested, stay tuned and continue to watch this video. Okay, so I've already prepped the hair by sectioning it off, and you see where the duck clips are at. I have actually clamped every 3 tracks of the hair. So I'm doing that because 1, I need to work fast. This is going to help me work fast, and 2, because I can track what I'm doing, where I'm at, and how further along in the process I have left to go. So this is just going to be a helpful guide for me as I work through this unit. This unit that I'm working on for a customer, I'm actually recreating my Rachel unit that's available on the site for purchase. This is a 26-inch 200 density unit. The one that's on the website, that is I believe an 18 or a 20 inch. However, this customer wanted a longer length, which was definitely available for her to purchase. And so also too, I have already bleached the knots too off camera. Now, if this is something that you are interested in seeing how I bleach my knots, let me know in the comments down below, and I'll be more than happy to create a separate tutorial just to show you how I bleach my knots. So here, as I have already started applying the bleach on the hair, so what I like to do is I like to apply the lightener on the foil. This allows for the lightener to be touching the hair on both sides, right? It helps with being fully, so that the hair can be fully saturated in the bleach. One of the things I've learned about bleaching hair, or rather the term is lifting the hair, is you want to make sure that the hair is fully saturated in the lightener. So anytime I'm formulating the lightener, I always make sure that it is on a creamy consistency, so that way it can kind of seep, it could kind of fully saturate the hair itself. I have actually seen where I have lifted or applied the lightener on the hair, and when I go to remove the foils, I notice that parts of the hair, like mostly underneath on the bottom part of the hair, it has literally, the lightener has literally missed it. Like there's no lightener touching it or anything like that, or if it did, it wasn't saturated enough, which causes the hair to not lift the way it's supposed to lift, so that I can accomplish the desired look. So you always want to make sure that whenever you're lifting hair, that it is fully saturated, so that way that it can lighten evenly throughout the entire head. Also too, as I am working on this wig, you will notice that there are going to be parts where I just do the teasing, and then there's going to be parts where I do the teasing and then I also use the combs. One of the things that I like to do is, I kind of like to use different types of techniques when I'm working on wigs, and when I'm working on doing the balayage, or if I'm doing any highlighting. I also believe that sometimes it's good to kind of practice and kind of create just techniques that works for you so that you can kind of get the desired look that you want. So here, I'm going to be, either like right now here, I'm just going to do the teasing. I'm not going to use the combs for the highlighting process or anything. And I will be doing that all throughout the hair, where I will be kind of rotating them a bit. So there's going to be a row where I do the teasing part, and there's going to be a row where I do the teasing and the highlighting part. This is just so that you can just see, so that the unit can have different dimensions and stuff like that. So I really love working. I really love when I can have fun with this type of fun when I'm working on units, especially when I get to work on a unit where I'm just making something, working on something just to add to the website, or if I'm getting a request. This is pretty much one of the best parts of me creating a unit. Now, don't get me wrong, it is tedious. It is very tedious because, you got to make sure that you're not messing up. You got to make sure that, the hair is being lifted evenly and everything. But when you see the outcome of it all, it just you feel some type of way, and if you're someone that's in the wig industry and you know exactly what I'm talking about, if you know, but it's also that thing about when you've accomplished something that looks so well because you've practiced it and you just kept going, you didn't give up, there's this type of joy that you feel because, it's the type of thing that God is giving you. It's a gift. Understand that what you have is a gift. God has given you a gift. And so it is important for you to master that gift so that it can make room for you and that it can also enlarge your territory. Okay, so don't hide that gift that God has given you. Whatever He's giving you, know that He's given it to you for such a time as this. So use that gift. Don't throw it away. Do not throw it away, because, and I'm saying that for someone who has almost thrown her gift away, and just knowing that when I came back into this industry, how I fell in love with it even more. So it doesn't have to necessarily be the beauty industry. It could be any career or whatever, but whatever it is, embrace it, because you're giving God the glory. In everything that you do, you are giving Him the glory. You are lifting Him up, so just wanted to give you a bit of a motivation as I record this video for you. So earlier I mentioned that throughout the entire process of working on this unit that I was going to rotate the techniques and what I'm doing. So you saw earlier where all I did was just tease the hair, and then as I teased it, I applied the lightener. Now here you're going to see that I'm teasing it, but I'm also going to be using my comb so that I can do the slicing process. Now I will say that when it comes to using it, you got to kind of get used to it, because for me at first, I ain't gonna lie, I was a little frustrated with it, but as I got used to it, I kind of started to get the hang of it. As I started to get the hang of it, I started enjoying using it. Now I have two or three different sizes that I'm working on. So here I'm going to work with like the medium size, because the pack that I got, it came with I think about 5 or 6 different sizes. So I'm using like the medium to large size here in the back area of the hair, but in the front, when I start working in the top area of the hair, I'm going to be using the baby one, the smaller ones that's very, very fine. That way I could just it could just create different dimensions in the hair. And as I work throughout the entire process of the hair, when you see the outcome, you'll kind of get a visual on what I'm talking about. So, you know, just sit back, watch the video and everything. Just enjoy the whole process and everything like that. And I will be back soon. So I know you guys noticed that there is a water bottle next to me. So typically I like to keep a water bottle next to me anytime I'm working with a unit that I need to lift. Simply because in the past I have had challenges where I am lifting the hair and out of nowhere, with, you know, if I'm not paying attention close enough, the lightener will touch another part of the wig or another strand of the hair that it shouldn't be touched, or a part that I've sectioned off. And so what I like to do is, and this is something I've kind of watched a former instructor of mine do, I've actually watched her do it. So what I do is I keep the water bottle next to me, so that way if in fact a lightener falls anywhere or touch a strand of hair throughout the entire wig, what I'll do is I will saturate, I'll spray that area and fully saturate it, because one of the things I noticed is that even though you spray it with the water, it can still lift. So you want to make sure that you fully saturate it with the water. And then what I'll do is I'll rub it just to make sure that I can break up the lightener, so that way it doesn't lift or anything like that. And I have found that process works, because the last time I did it, I thought it went away, and it didn't. It literally still lifted. And so what I try to make sure I do is anytime that happens, I'll not only spray it, but I'm going to spray it multiple times to make sure it's nicely saturated. And then I'll rub that area just to make sure that it is fully broken up and it is not processing at all. Okay, so it looks like I'm at the lace part of the unit. So I'm starting off with the money piece in the front. I love a good money piece, y'all. I don't know what it is, but I love me a good money piece. I don't know what it is. It's just something about when you just see that nice, beautiful look in the front of like that blonde, that ash blonde, or just that color in the front. It just really complements your face. It complements the wig really, really well. So I love a good money piece. That is a signature. And as you guys can just see, I just had to spray an area of the wig because a lightener fell on it. So as you can see, I sprayed it and then I rubbed it just to make sure. And so listen, it is just good to really make sure that you have that bottle next to you, because sometimes that lightener likes to travel, and yeah, we don't need that type of mistake. Not up in here, okay? But back to what I was talking about. I love a good money piece. So I'm actually going to be working that money piece throughout the front section of that lace. And so what I did is I sectioned it in 3. That way I can make sure that I can control each section and that it's not overwhelming. That's another thing about sectioning and guiding what you are doing whenever you're in the process of doing something. You do not want to overwhelm yourself, you know, because then you'll feel, I don't know, maybe sometimes you'll feel some form of anxiety, whatever the case may be, and we don't need that, you know. So one of the things I like to always say is you work smarter and not harder. Okay, so as you can see, I work smarter where I sectioned it off to where I can control what I'm working on. And as you also can see, I'm just rubbing it in. So I want to make sure it's fully saturated. Okay, and when it's fully saturated and when it's really nice and creamy, you will definitely see a big difference versus if you just use just an amount just to try and save your products. No, use that product, saturate that thing, okay? Because one thing you do not want to do is cut yourself short or that customer that you are creating that unit for. other tip that I wanted to mention is making sure that everything is evened. So one of the things that I like to make sure is that although I am working in sections, I want to always make sure that everything is evened out, right? So as you can see where I'm applying the lightener, I am actually watching where the section next to it stops at, so I can make sure that I do not go any further than that. You always want to make sure that everything evens out together. Believe me and you, if you do not do that, it will look very off, and you can tell when it is not evenly distributed well. So definitely make sure that when you are working in sections that you make sure everything is evened out. One more thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was the whole teasing process. So as I mentioned earlier, the client wanted to have more, she wanted to see more of the highlighted parts more than the darker parts. So when it comes to teasing, it's all about placement, right? So it depends on where, which determines how much more of the highlighted pieces you're going to have versus the highlighted pieces, you know, versus like if you want more highlighted pieces versus if you want less highlighted pieces, right? So let's just say I want to have less highlighted pieces. So if I'm going to have less highlighted pieces, when I'm doing the teasing, I'm going to go further down towards like the end of the hair versus the mid shaft. So I'm going to go towards the end of the hair shaft, and I'm going to tease that area moving forward, and that's going to give you less hair that you're going to lighten. Now if I want to have more highlighted pieces, I'm going to start from the mid shaft of the hair, and then I'm going to tease up. So I'll have more videos about it just so that you guys can kind of get the hang of it, of what I mean. I know a lot of times I'm a visual person, so I know a lot of times it's good to see it repeatedly to understand what it is I'm trying to show you and explain to you at the same time. But I know that it took me a while to kind of get the hang of it, to understand it more, especially when I was taking even highlighted classes. So throughout, you know, I'll be showing more videos, tutorials on this. You know, I have much more videos concerning like highlighting, coloring, and all that stuff, just so I can kind of, you know, teach you guys the things that I've learned, you know, and just teach it in a way where you guys can learn it, you know, just make it more simple for you guys. So, but I hope by me explaining it this way to you kind of get the hang of what I'm trying to say. But I will definitely have more videos concerning like highlighting, balayage, you know, and teasing and everything, so that way you kind of get the understanding of what I mean. But I just wanted to make sure that I did talk a little bit about the teasing part. We are actually going to be approaching the end of this video, so I wasn't able to show you guys me rinsing out the hair. It was actually pretty late by the time I was done with everything, so I ended up rinsing out the bleach. From there, I went ahead and deposited the color, and after that I let it air dry overnight after I gave it a good wash and I put treatment in it. So in the next video, which is going to be part 2, I am going to show you guys how I style my units prior to sending it off to its new home. So I definitely hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you're not already part of the community. And I look forward to seeing you guys in my next video. Thank you guys so much. Again, I miss you guys. I pray you guys miss me as well. And I will see you guys again in my next video. Bye.